Hello everyone, my name's Taylor with Royal Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service and only Orbis endorsed outfitter on the entire Arkansas River Basin. Thanks so much for viewing today. As we move through the month of July, we're now in late July and moving into really a fantastic time period on not only the Arkansas but many watersheds in the state of Colorado. That late summer, early fall window can be one of just the most enjoyable time periods that we have, knowing that river conditions are much lower, clarity is usually very solid, bug hatches are at their peak now, and fish are super happy. So just a fantastic time period to plan a trip to Colorado, to be on the water, to be out enjoying the great outdoors. As we moved into the month of July, we celebrated our 30th anniversary as a fly shop and guide service, and I truly want to thank you all for your support throughout those 30 years. Couldn't have done it without you. Thanks to our customers, clients, and staff throughout those years. Feel so fortunate to be one of the oldest fly shops in the game, and just so fun to be able to do this day in, day out. Let's talk a little bit about the fishing. It's been an interesting year in many respects, but definitely an odd water year. We've been in the 700 CFS range now for almost 3 weeks, which is definitely not typical. Our historic average in this time period is around 800 to 1,000 CFS. Of course, we have a flow management program that keeps flows at the Wellsville gauge over 700 CFS until August 15th, which is fantastic for our trout population to keep the water temperatures cooler. However, this year was a different year. Runoff was very minimal. We had a good bump and flow to really cleanse the river well, and then it came slamming right down to about that 700 CFS range, which is where we've seen it. Clarity has been exceptional, almost too good, making it a bit more technical, but excellent conditions to wade or to float, which is a huge positive. This may be one of the best fishing condition seasons we've seen. Now we've got a little bit of monsoon activity going on, which is a blessing. We will have a little bit of a tinted water from time to time, but that rainwater contribution helps native flows, helps keep the water cool, cools down the air temps every day, so that's what we need. Definitely don't want to be in a heavy drought. So those conditions are here, just know that. In the afternoons, typically we'll have some thunderstorms rolling through. The time to be out on the water in this window of time through early September is early and late. You want the low light, you want the cooler conditions. Fish are much more willing to look up, to eat a dry dropper rig. In the middle of the day, man, number one, fish just aren't that willing to move to the fly. You can definitely nymph and dredge and do relatively well in the middle of the day. But we do want to caution you also as we move into the month of August about water temperature and to keep a good eye on that. Typically, if we get over 65 degrees, we want to take it a lot easier on the fish in that window. 65 to 70 is a window water temp wise that we typically want to take a break, get back on the water later. Like I said, early and late, we typically have no issues with water temperature. So those are not only the most productive time periods, but also the safest time periods to be out there fishing to make sure that we maintain a healthy trout population. So that being said, like I mentioned before, with lower water, clear conditions, we are fishing longer leaders right now. You're having to make a bit longer casts than you do at post runoff. The fish are very spread out right now, so you do need to cover water. typically in the mornings you'll find fish in softer water, edges, stuff like that, and then throughout the day as the sun gets higher, those fish will get into heavier, more oxygenated water, tuck up into boulder pockets, so on and so forth. So those are the things to look for fish movement. As far as the patterns we're focusing on, definitely some key hatches going on right now that are driving our productivity. Red quills, still some PMDs in the mix, yellow sallies, a few stoneflies kicking around, of course some terrestrials out there, hoppers, ants, things of that sort. But we're also starting to see a very early productivity on the BWO side of things. A lot of blue-winged olives, the pseudo-betas, the small ones, 18 through 22 dark bodies starting to hatch, and fish are really reacting to those from the substrate up. So for our dropper nymphs, we're starting to fish a lot of BWO style patterns. Also starting to see some tricos out there. So that's a lot, right? It's a smorgasbord out there. Let's take a quick look at some recommended fly patterns, what you'd find in our guides boxes during this window. And all of these patterns will be very, very productive in the 400 to 750 CFS range through the early fall. Okay, folks, as discussed, now that we're moving into that late summer, early fall window, we're dealing with lower water, clearer water, and a bit more technical fishing, meaning we're just fishing smaller flies, longer leaders. As you can tell, even our attractor dry row here getting smaller as compared to what we were dealing with, in the post-runoff window. But still fishing larger streamers and some larger attractor nymphs for our double nymphing. Let's take a quick peek at some good attractor dries. We've got our 409, and kind of like I mentioned before, we're looking at red bodies and yellow bodies mostly for our attractors. We've got a parahumpy, a red parahumpy. That's a foam-topped humpy. Excellent pattern. Royal chubby, excellent color for that chubby, and we're going to be fishing a lot of different chubbies in this window, but size 14, 16, and royal is my favorite. Here's a yellow body, high-vis PMX rubber leg with the yellow body. I do love rubber legs still during this time period. We've got kind of a newer pattern. This is called a Stubby Chubby, and this guy is the yellow body as well, and just a phenomenal attractor dry for a yellow Sally, annelid, supports weight pretty well. This is a number 16, very visible. So like I said, mostly a yellow Sally, but would fish as, caddis as well. This is a phenomenal attractor that I just love. This is Andrew Grillos's Dancing Ricky, and the Dancing Ricky in tan and purple, my two favorite colors. Still pretty small though, 14, 16 on that. So again, getting smaller on our attractor dries. For our hatch matching dries, we've got our red Quill Spinners. This is a profile spinner, high-vis spinner. We've got more of a hatch matcher here. This is a Rocky Mountain Mint for a red quill. In the PMD category, we've got Ken Morish's Mayday. That's one of my true favorites. Buyout body Comparadun here, okay. In the Caddis category, we want tan and olive bodies. This is a tan front end loader, just a really good general attractor Caddis. This is a Mimic Sedge. That's gonna be a foam body olive with a little CDC collar up top. Okay, and then we've got in the BWO category, and like I said, already fishing BWOs, we've got a flag done here, okay, and that's a split flag. In the trico category, This is a chubby trico, and we'll continue to see that trico activity build over the end of July and through the month of August into September. Here we've got our dropper nymphs, whether you're running them under a dry, under a larger attractor nymph, or tagged in a Euro nymph rig. You've got, in the red quill category, the copper orange radiation. That's Shea Gunkel's pattern, size 16, 18, 20. Micro mayfly, Mike Mercer's pattern, red. This is going to be a Euro style nymph here. This is red bodied hare's ear jig Eurofly. In the PMD category, Mike Mercer's Poxy Back PMD, one of my true favorites. Juan Ramirez's Split Back Shady PMD, double tungsten. In the BWO and crossover category, we've got a Frenchie here. This is one of my true favorites through this late summer, early fall window. Another true BWO nymph. This is the Shot Glass in a purple color. That's Shea Gunkel's fly. Again, a radiation, kind of a good crossover fly, but more in the BWO category, peacock radiation. And then in the trico nymph category, this guy, this is called an Ice Queen, and that thing is going to fish very well as we go through the month of July and August on the Arkansas and South Platte. Then in our larger attractor nymphs, Yellow Sallies, this is called a red tag here. This is in the jig style, but we also carry it on a standard hook. Iron Sally, we carry both in standard hook, as you see here, or a jig style. Those are two key Yellow Sally nymphs. In the rubber leg stone category, which rubber legs are going to continue to fish very well, especially smaller rubber legs. This is a jig style rubber leg here. Pennington's Improved Stone, just another great rubber leg stone. Cranefly larva, don't forget those. This is a Mocheck cranefly tan. We fish them in olive as well, tied on the jig hook, competition style, extra heavy. Guide's Choice Hare's Ear, definitely don't forget that one. Just a great lead fly, or even a dropper nymph off a larger dry. Rubber leg Psycho Prince, one of our key attractor flies in this window as well. Then streamers. We're still going tandem, so I still like to do something large up front, trailing something smaller. You can also just fish these larger streamers on their own, but I definitely do like to fish tandem. So one larger fly up front, one smaller underneath. Sex Dungeon, this is the mini dungeon, Kelly Gallup's fly. I love white when the water's a little bit clearer. They seem to really react to that. Yellow's another one of my key colors in that mini dungeon category. Barely Legal, this is Kelly Gallup's Barely Legal in the olive and yellow. We'll fish really well as we move into early fall. This has the fish skull style. We carry it in the cone head as well. And then trailers, Hot Cone Slump Buster is one of my favorites. You can fish it on its own as well. But my number one trailer is a thin mint or a junior mint tied on a jig hook. Okay, so that's a good look at kind of our general fly selection. That's what kind of one of our guides' boxes would look like on the Arkansas Freestone. A lot of carryover here to the Arkansas tailwater, as well as the South Platte in late July, August, and early September. Okay, so hopefully a look at that guide box will give you a good general idea of what you need to be prepared with as you visit the Arkansas River Freestone in the month of August, the end of July, and as we move into the early fall time period in September. All of these hatches and bugs will really hold true as we push into early fall, and not only that, but also on our other drainages on the South Platte, on the Arkansas tailwater. All of these patterns are very valid for those areas as well. Do keep in mind that as we move into this time period, that as discussed before, lower water, clear water more technical. Okay, so longer leaders, longer casts, fluorocarbon's a must on our droppers or any nymphing that we're doing. Just know that it's not post runoff. The fish aren't as opportunistic as they were. But that being said, the fishing's still superb, and we will see that continue through that time period. So hopefully that's helpful information. All of the patterns that we looked at are available on our website at royalgorgeanglers.com, and please do stop by the fly shop, support local. We would love to see you, happy to help you. Keep in mind that we're doing everything we can to keep you safe from the COVID standpoint, sanitizing very regularly, wearing masks, so on and so forth. We are doing curbside and local delivery still, so if you'd like to go that route, you can either purchase online or call us and we can have an order set up for you. Happy to put together a fly selection for you. Say, you want a dozen flies, we can put together the best selection for the window of time you're coming. And check out our fishing reports, our text reports regularly, because those will change, but this video will help you in this longer period of time, give you a little bit more in-depth info on what we have in store upcoming. So really been a fantastic summer season. I mean, unlike one we've really ever seen. The fishing conditions couldn't be better. Just do keep in mind as we go into August, water temperatures in the middle of the day. Keep our trout population safe. Thank you for doing that. If you have any questions about that or anything else we've discussed today, call us 888-994-6743, extension 1 for the fly shop, extension 2 for the guide service. We do have some limited availability in the end of July, August, and September, but we are filling very rapidly in the guide service just with the COVID stuff going on. This is what people want to do. They want to be outdoors doing activities like this. We've really never seen demand like this for guided trips. It's great. We love it. We love taking people fishing. But if you are interested in a guide trip, please know that we are booking pretty far out already. And we appreciate you viewing. Go give us a Google review. Hop on our social media, Instagram, Facebook. There's always cool stuff there. And we look forward to seeing you in the fly shop or on the website sometime soon. Thanks so much. Have a great day on the water.